Welcome back to our Cheltenham Festival 2019 preview. 50% of the way through, on to Thursday, on to the new course and the feature race, the 3 mile Sun Stayers Hurdle, a Grade 1 Sun Racing Stayers Hurdle over 3 miles. Paisley Park, who has carried all before, 7-4 with Betfair. Faugheen, the former champion hurdler, 4-1. Super Sunday in there, 15-2. Black Op, 12-1. Among others, presenting Percy needs to be supplemented also in there as well. Last year's winner, Penhill, ruled out in recent days. Martin Dixon, Paisley Park, these staying hurdlers, when they get into a role, he is very much in that model. Bit like Thistlecrack a few years ago. He's had that Grade 1 win. He was brilliant last time in the Cleve Hurdle.
Yeah, he was. It was the performance of the season, I think, from a staying hurdler, and didn't always look likely coming down the hill. He was niggled along. I think that's just his style, really. But ultimately, we saw his stamina shining through.
It was interesting, though, hear what Ruby Walsh said about it as well, because some of the really good staying hurdlers, they just do that, don't they? They, as he said, race behind the bridle, and then they're so strong to the line. Yeah,
the stronger the gallop and the softer the ground, I think the more the emphasis is on stamina, I think the better this horse's chance, and he comes into it as the clear form pick. I wouldn't disregard the other horse in behind him here, Black Op, who was having his first try at 3 miles this day. He was closer to the pace throughout, and once he's beaten now, going towards the final flight, he's not knocked about, and I think that the gap might close between them a little bit next week, but undoubtedly Paisley Park goes into it the horse to beat, particularly with the race having cut up a little bit.
Dave Neverson, very often you read, you hear, you see people say bankers for the festival. Is this one of them?
It might not be far off. Look, I've been a doubter. I saw it overhaul one at Haydock when it first started its role, and I just thought the other one stopped in front and it was a real finisher, and it's going to be a really good handicapper. He's defied that, and I absolutely agree with probably everyone that was the staying performance of the season. And I think he's got a tremendous chance. I mean, he's got Faugheen as second favourite, an 11-year-old who fell last time out. Just on that Black Op, I can't see that. I thought he gave it a couple of cracks at the end and it was staying on, and it did its absolute best, so I just can't see how it can close it. So I think it's a worthy favourite.
Dave Yates, one thing we've known all season just about is how long it is until the Stayers Hurdle, because his owner, Andrew Gemmell, has been doing the countdown. 80-odd days, I think it was, after the long walk, 40-something after that day. It's been an incredible story.
Yeah, it has. The owner, blind from birth, a very enthusiastic supporter and long-term supporter of Emma Lavell's, big West Ham fan. So not everything in the sporting sphere has gone right this winter. But look at the Cleve Hurdle. Look, it's a really representative race of the UK-based staying hurdlers. Second West Approach, Black Op, Sam Spinner fourth. Okay, not the horse seemingly that he was this time 12 months ago. Lil Rockefeller, placed in the Stayers Hurdle before. Yep. Au Petit Soir, back to form at Cheltenham the time before this. You know what I mean, Harry. Holstone, course specialist at Cheltenham, and Midnight Shadow, who was last, who had shone over 2.5 miles the time before and had stepped up to 3. This horse had a £6 penalty, Paisley Park, for the Grade 1 win at Ascot. He beat West Approach 12 lengths, giving him £6 at Cheltenham. The time before that, he beat him 6 lengths. He beat him 2 lengths. Excuse me. Yeah. So. It's just the only thing this horse had to prove going into the Cleve was his effectiveness at Cheltenham, because he had finished down the field as a novice last March. Well, he answered that question emphatically in the Cleve as well.
Didn't he just? We'll be able to talk about a couple of the other British ones, potentially bigger prices, a bit of money around for Kilbrick and Storm, last year's Albert Bartlett winner. But let's talk about the former champion hurdler, the 2015 champion Faugheen, the winner of the Ballymore 5 years ago as well, and he was brilliant last year at Punchestown when going up to 3 miles. He comes off the back of that fall behind Apple's Jade. We don't know. Ruby Walsh said he hadn't actually asked him any kind of question last time, so how he would have got on with Apple's Jade over the 3 miles, we don't know. But if he comes back to this form, Martin Dixon, what do you reckon?
This this was a good performance, and on this form, he's probably a worthy second favourite. As we know, his career over the last sort of 2 years has become increasingly inconsistent. His jumping's not always been as good as it used to be, and he's been prone to the odd poor performance along the way as well. But I think the fact that they've freshened him up. The fact that they've freshened him up is an obvious positive, but I think he's a default second favourite.
Look, we always talk about as well that you can count on one hand just about in recent years the number of championship winners at the festival who are aged 10 or over, can't you? This horse is an 11-year-old. I think Moscow Flyer was an 11-year-old, but that's...
My granddad had a fall, and we never saw him again. And I can't just get over Faugheen.
Yeah, but what did he win as a young man then?
He was pretty good in his day. But anyway, Faugheen, he's now 11. He was only 10 when he fell. And he was going well against Apple's Jade, a horse I fancied to win the Champion. So there's form clearly there, but I just can't have it myself. But look, I'm reminded he beat Penhill there, so maybe I've got it completely wrong.
What was the time figure like for that Punchestown race?
It was about 150, so it's not exceptional.
Interesting, because the Racing Post time figure is absolutely bobbins, I think.
Right,
it's about, 90.
Yeah, there's
91.
often a fair discrepancy between the two. So.
That's interesting. I mean, bear in mind, when this horse fell at Leopardstown behind Apple's Jade, that Willie Mullins said, we thought that was it for him. Now, whether that's in a career or corporeal sense, I don't know.
Quite right. It did look bad for a while.
It looked very worrying. He said that the horse was very, very stiff after they were very relieved that he got up, but they did think whether they might draw stumps with him then on a fantastic career, and one that would have been even better had injury not intervened.
One of the best backed horses this weekend, though, so there's clearly people thinking that he's a real contender.
An incredibly popular one.
There's another Willie Mullins horse, I think, that's probably gone under the radar a little bit, and he was quite popular in the run-up to the festival last year. That's Bacardi's.
Yep.
They ran him twice over fences last year, then didn't take to it, freshened him up, brought him to the Stayers Hurdle. As I say, there was plenty of each-way money for him last year, and he might well have been placed, but he fell at the last flight of hurdles when he was in the process of running very well. They've gone back chasing again in the autumn. Again, hasn't worked out for him, but it's almost identical to last season, so I'd say he's around a 16-1 shot, something like that, Bacardi's, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's his only entry at the festival. If he was to turn up, I wouldn't dismiss him.
Okay. One horse who does tend to turn up at the festival and run well, the 2017 Coral Cup winner, last year's Stayers Hurdle second, Super Sunday. The last time he raced over 3 miles was this race last year. Since then, he's been ostensibly campaigned as a 2.5 2-miler. He does have the entry as well for the Champion Hurdle, but year on year, and just about whatever the race, he turns up and he runs a big one, Dave.
Yeah, he does. Coral Cup winner. Beaten by Penhill here, the horse in the Potts colours, travelling strongly in the yellow and the green. His form this season, 2 spankings by Apple's Jade at Fairyhouse in the Hatton's Grace and in the Irish Champion. In between, a decent second to Sharjah at Leopardstown over Christmas. I think he's got very good place prospects again, but I'll be surprised if he beats Paisley Park.
That's Bacardi's there, just coming down far side in the yellow cap, and he was only about a length and a half down and keeping on at the time.
It's quite a strange running of the race in the way that they actually went, though, wasn't it, last year?
Yeah, they didn't go that quick, and it developed into a bit of a sprint finish from the second last.
OK, we've had a look at Leopards. We've been at Leopardstown today. We've had a look at Super Sunday, a horse who won at the festival 2 years ago, was second last year in the Stayers, campaigned largely at 2.5 miles since. And someone who'll know very well the route that Super Sunday will be taking is Kate Harrington. Where is Super Sunday going?
I'm not sure we're going to get a definitive answer today, Nick, but we'll do our very best. Kate, we saw Super Sunday there finishing second in the Stayers Hurdle last year, which was a great run. No Penhill to worry about this time around, albeit there is the small matter of Paisley Park. Which way are you guys leaning at the moment?
Nothing's decided. He's got to work tomorrow morning, and Mum and Robert and myself, and we'll have a sit down and a chat, and also talk to the Potts family. But no decision has been made as of yet.
OK, I mean, we all know in racing things can change very quickly. I think earlier on in the season you were focused on the Champion Hurdle, but Obviously, we've lost Penhill. The likes of Apple's Jade is now in the champion hurdle that maybe you weren't expecting at that stage. These are all factors you've got to weigh up, I guess.
Exactly. Like at the beginning of the season, we were looking at the champion hurdle because he did win 2 Grade 1s over 2 miles last season and was second in the 3-mile races last year. So that's the way we were going, and we went 2 miles at Christmas. At the Dublin Racing Festival, there was no option to go 3 miles, so we went 2 miles. So no decisions made as of yet, and we'll just see how he works, but we couldn't be happier with his preparation as of yet.
I'm sure we'll get the news first here on Racing TV when the decision is made, won't we? Now, what about the opposition for the stayers, because that's the race we're talking about at the moment. How tough an obstacle would Paisley Park be if he did run here?
He certainly he looks so impressive. Like, he's been absolutely brilliant in all his runs in England this year. One I really like, I don't think Faugheen was finished with Apple's Jade yet when he fell at the second last year, Christmas time, and I think he could run a big race for the Willie Mullins team. Yeah,
and last year, of course, we were watching the replay of the closing stages there. It was a messy sort of race. There wasn't much of a gallop. Do you think ideally over 3 miles he wants a better gallop, or the fact that he's effective over 2, does that kind of play to his strengths, if anything?
It plays to all his strengths. Like, he's such a Super Sunday's such a relaxed horse. You can do anything with. You can have him on it or just settle him in, and he only ever does as much as he has to, and he's a model of consistency. I don't think over the last 2 years he's never been out of the first 2.
When does he do his final piece of work?
He will do it actually Wednesday morning. He'll do it Wednesday morning. Mum is over in England this evening for the Unibet Cheltenham preview, so she won't be back till tomorrow lunchtime, so he'll do it Wednesday morning.
And there's a bit of a conflab, is there, between mother and the lieutenant?
No, I'll let Mum make that decision. I might say 1 or 2 things, and then I might leave the room and leave it up to Mum and Robert.
Okay, we'll see how that pans out then. So no decision, guys, yet on Super Sunday. I mean, the favourite's an impossible horse to knock, isn't he? Really strikes me as a similar sort of type to Thistlecrack. Just the one worry I'd have about taking a short price about him, with Thistlecrack won a few years back, he was basically just beating up the same horses he'd been beating all season long. There's just 1 or 2 others in there that Paisley Park has yet to lock horns with. That's the only thing that would maybe put me off taking a short price. Super Sunday, of course, could be one of them, so we shall see.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed, Kate and Gary. Super Sunday festival winner, second last year. Which race he'll go to will be decided in due course. It's no question that Paisley Park is going to the Sun Racing Stayers Hurdle, run on the Thursday of the festival. Currently 7-4 with Betfair on a winning roll. Faugheen is 4-1. Super Sunday, we've just heard about 15-2. Final thoughts, guys? Anything to add?
Sam Crow may or may not
find out tomorrow, don't we?
Up.
Tuesday.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think Paisley Park's got an absolutely compelling case. Really,
incredible, really, isn't it? Sam Crow, the curious case of. I know the lung infection's been revealed since, but if you just said after he won at the festival last year he won't be winning another race in a year, I think it would have surprised a few.
Yeah, you always get these horses and these surprises, don't you? After the festival, we think everything's a superstar, and then time tells you different sometimes.
Indeed, right. I think that's all from us. I think it's Paisley Park unanimously, potentially all round. Martin Dixon, though, putting up an each-way selection for Bacardi's. That was a look at the Sun Racing Stayers Hurdle. More to come.